Earlier this year, I met the philosopher Nick Bostrom. Have you ever heard of him?
Yes, I know Nick.
Yeah. He says that it's likely that AI will become a super intelligence, much above human standards. And Dr. Bostrom believes AI could be what he calls an existential risk, something that can lead us to extinction. Let's listen to him.
Well, I think that over the next few decades, maybe 100 years, something like that, we'll pass through this bottleneck. We will develop some critical technologies that will shape the very long-term destiny of Earth-originating intelligent life. Chief among them, perhaps, artificial intelligence.
Would be the last invention humans would have to...
The last invention, yeah. I mean, if you think about what fully general machine intelligence would imply, if you have a machine that's better at all cognitive tasks than we humans are, then in particular, it would be better at inventing than we are. So human intellectual efforts would then be obsolete in a sense.
But then this incredible artificial super intelligence would have to care about Earthlings.
Right.
Why would it do it?
Well, that's a specific kind of thing you would need to build. What you don't want to have is some kind of super psychopath who is very good at reading the minds, can see exactly what we want, but then has a very different goal, and it just uses that knowledge to kind of manipulate, right?
Well, I want to see your reaction to that. Can AI become this super psychopath? Bostrom fears. Hold your answer. Depois do intervalo, a resposta em instantes. Bem-vindos de volta à nossa conversa com Kai-Fu Lee. Por favor, aplausos. Cientista e empreendedor da internet que está no Brasil lançando esse livro, Inteligência Artificial. É um assunto e tanto como nós estamos vendo. So, Mr. Lee, how do you react to Nick Bostrom's fears, apocalyptic fears about AI? Could AI become the super psychopath that Bostrom fears?
Almost impossible, and here's why. Nick is a friend. I've read his book, Superintelligence. I recommend it to everybody. He describes a scenario that presumes continued breakthroughs in AI.
An explosion of superintelligence.
Right.
Yeah.
And it is that certainty of explosion that is absolutely not proven by scientific evidence. If you look at the last 63 years of artificial intelligence, it was invented 63 years ago. In the last 63 years, we've had one breakthrough, and it's deep learning. And deep learning allows an AI to take a narrow domain, lots of data, and beat people at it. And it's AlphaGo. So if you read the headlines, you might say, oh, it's beating people in AlphaGo, it's beating people in speech recognition, it's beating people in making loans, it's beating people in internet applications. Oh, then these are exponentially increasing applications. Eventually, the intelligence will beat people. But what we forgot is all these cool applications are built on one invention, deep learning. And deep learning is fundamentally limited to take lots of data and make one decision in a single domain. They're so dumb that if I tell it a joke, it doesn't know how to laugh. And if you are a 3-year-old is smarter than an AI when it comes to common sense or humor or something like that. And we've had one breakthrough in 63 years. So to get 20 more breakthroughs, it's going to take 1,200 years. So
not necessarily, because things are exponentially faster, quicker now.
Well, applications of deep learning is exponentially growing until it saturates. But until there's another breakthrough, there won't be exponential growing. What I do worry about is AI becoming easier and easier to use. Then bad people will use AI to hurt other people.
Like deep fake, for instance.
Exactly. Examples like that.
And you're always talking to children in kindergarten, to politicians, to businessmen. And do they ask similar questions, grown-ups? Kids and grown-ups?
They do.
They do.
Sometimes it's more fun to talk to the kids because they're not inhibited by the societal common beliefs. And when I talked to the kindergarten kids, I had the most fun. You know,
What's the best question a kid ever asked to you?
something like, will a robot take my dad's job? Or if robots starts driving cars and hitting people, how do I avoid that? It's very, very, on the surface, very silly, but in practice, a real problem. When we have autonomous vehicles, when they hit somebody, is that killing or not? There are ethical issues. And then
Who's going to jail?
Who's going to jail? The accountability,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Is it the maker of the software, the maker of the car, the owner of the car, or what? Yeah, there are a lot of issues in society, but I think sometimes children have a way of asking a question that leads to those interesting implications.
Se você também tem perguntas como dessa criança ou